You're watching the buck stops here and turning our focus now to that stoic, strong, dignified woman you see on your screen as she strode up to receive the Gallantry Award on behalf of her husband from the President this morning in the presence of the American President Barack Obama. That's Indu Mukund. On the screen, her husband, of course, Major Mukund Vardarajan, martyred in Jammu and Kashmir. On the program today, we'll be talking to Indu about the pain and pride of being a martyred soldier's wife. But first, let's take a pause to also offer our tributes to the Major himself through this little video that was captured by family and friends. And so, very moving, just as Indu moved an entire country today. She's with us in the studio. I can't even imagine what this moment felt like this morning as you walked up to receive the Gallantry Award, because to come to terms with the death of a man that you have loved, who's your husband, the father of your daughter, you are the one left behind dealing with that loss, you know, after everybody's remembered him and even after the Gallantry Award. So in that moment, as you walked up to receive that award from the President this morning, what was going through your head?
Be proud. Because if Mukund was here today, he would have taken that award with a lot of pride and a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he couldn't be.
Yeah.
So I was in his stead. It was for him, it was his day, it was his award. So all I could think about at that point of time was, you're doing this for him, so be proud.
You moved an entire country, and a lot of people, including myself, commented on social media that you were stoic. That in many ways, it was obviously important for you. You must have been close to breaking down, but it was important for you to not display that emotion. Why was that important for you?
Again, for Mukund, because he's not somebody who likes to see his family upset about anything. So I know for a fact that he would have wanted me to have taken the award with pride and to stand in pride, especially today, rather than stand in sorrow. So yes.
But the sorrow is there, right? How can it not be?
There's no way there is no sorrow here, because he was loved by family, by me, beyond comprehension. You know, ours was a love marriage, and I've known him for 9 years now, and I wanted many more with him.
How do you meet?
College. Madras Christian College. So yes, so sorrow is definitely there, but it's a personal matter, and what the country needs to see today is the man he was, not my sorrow.
Who was he? Tell us about him.
He was a wonderful man. He was a family man. He loved his family. He was rough and tough outside, but very soft inside. He was very passionate, very loyal, very humorous. He made me laugh all the time. So he was just an ordinary man with interesting and extraordinary aspirations.
He was an extraordinary man, I would say. What is he singing for those who couldn't follow that song that we just showed? Translate it for us. What is he singing to your daughter?
So the exact translation is a little difficult, but
the gist of it.
Is, he's just saying that fear not, go forward, no matter what happens, even if the clouds break down, basically even if the sky falls on you, move ahead, fear not.
And those turned out to be...
Yeah, quite ironically, and yeah, it turned out to be something that Arshia can grow up with right now, and even I can move on with.
How did you explain this to your daughter?
So we didn't lie to her. We were we wanted to be honest, and we wanted what we told her to be a persistent and consistent concept. So we told her that so she understands office, because Mukund used to come and go. So that was office. He would leave for office. So we sort
But this was no regular office, right?
So we told her that he's gone to God's office, and it's difficult for him to come back from there, but he's definitely looking after us, and he's around. So that's what she's been told, and she's too young to comprehend what death is. She's 3 years and 9 months now, 10 months now. March she'll turn 4. So it's difficult for her to comprehend it, but it sort of for now keeps her quiet, though she does have her questions. When she sees men in uniform, when she sees other kids with their dads, she does feel the absence, even if she's 3.5. I was quite amazed to see that she misses him, and she remembers him. So it's difficult at times to explain that to her, because it's clear that at points she doesn't understand it. She just accepts it, but she has questions, but she doesn't know how to word it again. So it will take time. When she grows up slowly, most probably it will be easier for me to explain it to her when she grows up. And
did she understand that her dad has won this big honor today?
I didn't. I've told her that, you know, Appa is getting something, but I have not told her it is today, because she's got a tendency to see men in uniform and then immediately get into that whole mode of where is Appa. So I didn't do that to her today, though I did tell her that Amma is going for a function and we're picking up something that Appa is getting. So it's very simply put to her, and she was happy with the explanation.
Where do you draw strength from? Is it just from the memory of the love that you had for Mukund? Because I think what everybody is struck by is that they can't even begin to imagine your sorrow, but the stoicism of your strength is something that's really moved people today. How old are you, by the way, if I can?
31. Now 31.
And
now
how old was Mukund when he was martyred?
31.
30. So where do you draw your strength from?
So it's a couple of things. Most importantly, it's the love I have for him, not had. So it's something that is
will live on.
Yeah, it's quite strong, and it's my being. So, and also my regard for him and what he would want. So my strength to try and live happily and give Arshia a happy life comes from that.
Would he talk about what he had to deal with while being posted in Jammu and Kashmir, which is of course where he was martyred? Would he discuss the travails or the challenges or the struggles of that? I mean, for all our viewers do know, but just to remind them, he was of course killed in a terror strike, but he took out 3 terrorists before he was martyred. Did you have a sense of, I mean, of course everybody knows that Jammu and Kashmir is a dangerous place to serve for a soldier, but did you have a sense of what he was going through or what his challenges were?
So most army officers, I think, especially Mukund, they don't give information, especially to their wives, too much of it. So the maximum he would have said if he knew something was going to happen would be, pray for me, keep me in your prayers, you know, but he wouldn't tell you why. So you just have to take it at that, and you can't question him more, and you sort of, it's fruitless. You know it's going to be fruitless, so you just leave it at that. So I was asked this question before also, if I did think about it or did I worry about it. I think it's some kind of a defense mechanism that sets in for me, wherein I refuse to entertain such thoughts, because obviously because of how much you love a person, if you start worrying about that person, you also throw that baggage on him. And he, as I told you, was a very emotional person when it came to family. He was very close to all of us. So I knew that, you know, it was important for me to not affect him. And there was actually a situation where 2 weeks before, or a week before this happened to him, the election booth was attacked, and I couldn't reach Mukund after that for a couple of hours, so I freaked out. I was worried, and when I called him up, he said, "Why are you bothering with all this?" So it's sort of a mechanism that we adopt to live normal lives, you know. So
you can't think about it all the time.
You can't keep worrying about things like that. You just are bothered about him and you being happy together. Beyond that, there's nothing.
But you know, as somebody who's tracked the Forge for a really long time, and as someone who has deep love and affection and admiration for them, one of the things I always raise is whether we only remember soldiers in times of crisis, whether our tributes are only lip service, whether we ever remember to revisit those who are actually left behind. In some ways it's much tougher for you because you still have to live with strength and happiness for the rest of your life. So having had this loss and having had this happen to you, do you sometimes feel cynical? Do you sometimes feel the soldiers are neglected, don't get their place in society? Do you ever have those moments of doubt?
Not really. I think it's human tendency to forget anything that affects them negatively after a point of time. But for the person who's gone through it, it's not something that's going to abate that fast or might never abate. So I wouldn't blame the country as such, because I would understand if after a few years they would recognize Mukund as Mukund but would not connect any emotions to him. Emotions are left to us, the ones who loved him, the ones who knew him personally. So I don't have anything against. I've never felt cynical about, because I don't expect much from, I would expect it from me, my family, that they never forget Mukund. But as a soldier, I would expect him to be remembered patriotically. Yes, and it's too early to say if it's gonna happen or not happen. Right now, I'm not very cynical, but let's see how the world treats me.
But talk a little bit about the moment this morning again. The whole country is watching you. The American president is sitting there. You're striding up. Your face is betraying no emotion except pride.
Yeah.
But something else is probably going on inside.
I guess the only thing that went on inside my head is there's no way you can show another emotion here today. It's for him. It was just completely for him.
And you think tears would have been an insult to the memory of Mukund as you
I
love
think he would have been upset if he was around, if his presence was there. He would have been upset, and why should I make him upset on his day?
Is it tougher for his parents?
Very much so. Very much so. He was a very, very good son, and he loved his parents to bits. So equally, the same thing from the other end. So very much so.
You know, today there was something very interesting in the parade, that there were all-women contingents marching. Yesterday, a woman led the Guard of Honor for President Obama. You're obviously not a soldier, but as a soldier's wife, do you, and as a woman, what do you feel about a larger role for women in the armed forces?
I was very proud today when I watched them march past. I was very proud. And it's a good turn if it reaches out and if it spreads and perpetuates, and people, women pick up higher positions and they are at the forefront. I would be really proud. I would be very proud of my country. I was very proud today.
Yeah. And would you want to see a bigger role for them? Like I always say, let us into combat now.
We are good at it.
We are good at it.
Roles, yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you in the end to talk about Mukund the soldier and Mukund the husband and Mukund the father.
Mukund the soldier was a very dedicated man. He wanted to better himself at every step, and that sort of came from his personal life too. As a father and a husband, he always did what he thought was right, and if at any point of time he felt it was not right, he bettered it, he improved it, he worked on himself. As a father, he was brilliant. He could only ask. He used to actually call me up on the phone and say, "Give it to Ashya." So I say, "I'm your wife first. Talk to me first, and then you talk to her." But then, yeah. So he was a brilliant father. She was foremost in his priority list. As a husband, again, I couldn't have wished for anything better. He was perfect.
Perfect. Now you wrote a poem in his memory, and I have that poem in front of me, and I know that it's a raw emotion for you,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm going to read it out for our viewers because I think it's so very moving. And if you change your mind and you want to read it out for our viewers at all, makes you too emotional,
yeah,
but this is what you wrote, and I'm just going to read it out and then just ask you a bit about it. There lived a man who loved me with all his heart. There lived a man who fathered my child. There lived a man who believed in integrity. There lived a man who loved his profession. There lived a man who never feigned to be a hero. There lived a man who was my soul. There lived a man with a heart full of generosity. There lived a man who revealed all to me. There lived a man who loved me with his life. But now I wait, for he is with God. I know this for sure, one day I will meet him. I know this for sure, and he will give me that warm, strong hug of his. I know this for sure. And I will not complain that I cannot breathe. I know this for sure. You can hug me all you want. When did you write this?
The day I heard the news, that night.
That same night?
I have got a tendency to pour out emotions. It works for me that way. I can't talk much about it, but writing helps me to pour it out. So it just happened that night.
So on the day that he was martyred, you wrote this?
Yeah, because when it
and
happened,
it's really a love song to me. It's a love poem. I mean, it's a poem
when
of
it
love.
happened, I didn't know about it on 25th. I heard about it on 26th morning. 26th night I wrote that. So the day I heard about it.
Yeah, so you were still coming to terms with
Yes,
it, right? And you know, love like this is rare, right? It's unusual.
I don't know. I think you can find it. I think love is in different forms. You can find it between parents. You can find it between brothers. I think it's just pure. And yeah, I just loved him like that.
Last word. How would you like to remember him? What's your abiding memory of him?
His laughter. He smiles. He's very cute when he smiles. I think I'd like to see him smiling when I meet him at the end.
And you're sure you will?
Yeah,
And you're sure of
yes,
that hug?
Yes. And for that I need to do good. I need to live well, and I need to make Arshia also happy. And then I'll definitely see a smile.
I think you've inspired so many people today. Your courage in some ways is no less than his. And I think the country bows its head in respect today. Thank you so much, Indu Mukund, for sharing both your pain and your pride, and your immense pride today with us on the program. And that's it on The Buck Stops Here. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m.